everybody, welcome to Any Corner TV. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I'm here with
Brian O'Halloran.
All right, from
Clerks, Mallrats, Vulgar. I can keep going on and on, but this is a short little interview.
Yes, so he can't talk about all the projects he's done in the whole world.
No, but I mean I could if we, but we'd have to load another camera up. It's just way too long.
Yeah, it's just way too long. I was just rewatching like the Clerks documentary and everything, and I guess, did you start out in theater?
Yes, that's exactly where I started. I started doing theater. I did theater as a young child in fifth, sixth, seventh grade, then stopped and didn't really pick it up again until my junior, senior year of high school. And then I went to community college where I took all the theater courses I could do there, dropped out of that, and then started acting in local community theater in New Jersey. And it was through the local community theater scene that Kevin had decided to use a local community theater near him called the First Avenue Playhouse, which is still around today, to hold auditions at. And this was before the internet, before cell phones. So he said, look, can I rent your theater if you, as producers and owners of that theater, could go around calling your stable of actors to audition for me, as well as they put in an ad in the local newspaper, which back then, every Wednesday, the local community theaters would put in their audition notices for upcoming productions. So the theater owner had called me up and said, Brian, these guys are going to be doing this movie audition for this comedy next month. You should come down and audition. And that's pretty much how I got down there.
Your audition was very different than...
It was. I was doing another show at another theater called Wait Until Dark, which was this thriller drama play, and I played the evil villain of Mr. Rote, a guy who's a drug smuggler who decides to smuggle drugs in little porcelain dolls, and this doll gets delivered to this one lady who's blind, played by Marilyn Gigliotti, who was Veronica in Clerks. And so I decided to put together a monologue based on a dialogue that me and Marilyn's character, Susie, had. I literally slapped it together because I had actually forgotten about doing the audition because it was a month prior when I was told about it. And then the first night happened, I didn't go. The owner of the theater called me up going, hey, I thought you were coming down to audition for this. So I was like, oh my God, you're totally right, I forgot. And I came down there, slapped this thing together, and that's what you see on the Clerks 10-year anniversary is that audition.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think Dante Hicks and the Hicks family, because you played a numerous amount of Hicks,
Right.
That doesn't sound right, but
Yeah.
sorry for that.
No, but I think that was the inside joke, I think, is what Kevin was going for, that we're all just a bunch of Hicks. Playing, Dante Hicks, Gil Hicks in Mallrats, Sean Hicks, as we named him in Chasing Amy, Grant Hicks for Dogma, the newscaster. So I always found that kind of funny about that.
And then you reprised Dante a couple times.
That's right. We did the animated series where Dante obviously was in those 6 episodes. It was really a lot of fun playing him in that. And then we reprised him in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, where Dante and Randall get them arrested for being loitering in front of the store.
I remember the Clerks Animated, and I was so bummed when they took it off because I actually was one of the ones who watched it.
Oh, well, you know what? They didn't give it a fair shot, and that was a huge mistake on ABC's part, if you ask me. But Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was a huge hit for them, and they needed to have it on, 7 days a week, 3 times a day, so they needed to clear space on their roster, and we were one of the victims of that. But I'm hoping that at some point Kevin wants to do the cartoon again and we can approach it again. Who knows? When I always jokingly say when our faces become too hideous for actual cameras, we could still have our voices to do the Dante and Randall voices.
That might become a thing where one day people are just animated anyway.
Yeah, well, that would be definitely a big shock to the system for all us actors out there.
Yeah. Now, Vulgar, I have to ask, because I got to see it down in Vulgarthon, and I remember, I don't know, it was just the craziest movie, and I own it, I love it, I think it's a great movie, even though it's obviously very dark and gritty. I remember Brian Johnson mentioning the first time I guess he gave you the script,
right,
and your girlfriend read it.
Right.
What did your girlfriend do to Brian on when you guys went out to dinner?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't remember that story.
He said that she slapped him in the face.
Oh, I don't know. If that happened, I don't think that. But I mean, she did go what the fuck is that all about? like, what do you mean you thought it? Because Brian always tells the story like, I thought of you when I wrote this. So as he handed me the script. So then she's a quick reader, so she read it first. I was doing something else at the time. When I finally read it and I saw what she was talking about, the first draft of Vulgar is a very disturbing. There's an assault that happens in the movie, and it got really deep and dark, and to the point to where it was like, wow. And the first draft of it got really violent. It was really twisted. And knowing Brian, if anybody's seen him obviously on AMC's Comic Book Man, he's a really twisted thinker. And so when he put this script together and it was that type of a darkness to it, she was like, what did you want to do to my boyfriend like this? So I think she was defending me on that sense.
Oh, okay. All right, maybe that was it. I just always remember hearing slap, but I might be wrong.
I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I don't remember the slap part, but I know she was like, what is wrong with you?
Is there ever a plan for a Vulgar 2?
Actually, funny enough, I just ran into Brian Johnson. We were at an event together, and he came to me and he says, so many people come up to me saying, like, are you ever going to do another Vulgar? And you know what? He's been asked it so many times now that he just tweeted on his Twitter account, at Tell Him Steve Dave, that he is going to be starting to work on a Vulgar 2. So we're going to have a dinner or a couple of meetings together to try to hash out where we think this character would be all these years later.
Can you give us a hint of what you might think?
Oh, I haven't even had a dinner conversation with him about what I think, so, it would be unfair for me to think what I'm thinking.
You don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, especially since he'd be like, that's awful. He would never be that. You know what I mean? So who knows?
Yeah. Well, he's got a twisted mind. He's got more twisted mind than you do.
Correct. He actually does. He has a very twisted mind that only a lot of craziness that he's done in his life will give him.
And I know Clerks 3 is on the hold right now.
Correct. We're gonna. The next thing I've been told about Kevin to work on would be Mallrats 2. I've been told to look forward to start working on it in the fall of this year. So a release date, I would probably say the beginning of September next year.
So Gil is hanging back at the mall?
I don't know. I haven't been given that script yet, so I don't even know who I'm playing. I could be playing all the Hicks. I'd love to just play like all the Hicks. Grant Hicks, Gil Hicks, Sean Hicks. I think that'd be funny to see me show up many different times.
Kevin, if you're watching this, do that. That sounds like a great idea.
I could be like the Eddie Murphy of our group and show up in different types of forms.
That would be awesome.
Right?
I loved every Hick you played.
Thank you. I'm the master of Hicks.
How can people reach you?
The best way is probably like through my Facebook and Twitter. Brian C. O'Halloran on Instagram or Twitter is a good way of doing it. There is an official fan page on Twitter. If you see it, it's in the icon. It says in red letters, official fan page. I do moderate my own fan pages and my own Twitter accounts. So when you tweet or Instagram me, it is me.
It is you?
Yep.
I tweeted you yesterday.
That's right. And I liked it. And
yes, I saw that too.
That's right.
So
that was not a problem. Thank you for supporting me. So.
Oh, of course. Anytime. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to go and do this.
Not at all. Thank you for having me. I really enjoy being here, Jonathan, and the fans that have turned out. It's been an awesome day so far. And this is just day one.
Yeah, it's just day one. Come back tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, and then we have our Q&A tomorrow, 1:30. So come on by. Myself and Marilyn Gigliotti.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jonathan.
All right. See you guys.